Frank Sanders joins Calling All Sports with Rock and Manooch, now on Fox Sports 910.
You guys are hot.
Hey, everybody, welcome back in. Rock and Manooch with Jimmy Bay, Fox Sports 910, 99.9 FM HD2, also on the iHeartRadio app, and it is free to listen there as well. Frank Sanders joining us right now. Frank, Jimmy B, and Manooch today. I know you're not on the golf course because if you were, you would have melted like the witch in The Wizard of Oz.
That's good one. No, brother, I absolutely love playing golf in the summer times, man. It does my body good. I get out there with a cooler Mango Towel City from either the Raven or the Legacy, and a lot of other good golf courses offer some cold towels. But I have no problem with a bunch of cold brews. I'm taking the ice bucket challenge every 5 holes.
Oh yeah.
Every time.
I know a guy that's going to go from a dry heat to a very humid heat going to Nashville, Tennessee. That being Deandre Hopkins, he's going to have break out that cold towel and then mufflers 2 weeks later for his ears and his hands. What do you think about D-Hop? 2-year deal, projected around 15 per, maybe makes 30 to 32 over the next 2 years. You think it was smart to do the 2-year deal, and were you surprised it was the Tennessee Titans?
Number one, I would say I'm happy for him that he was able to get his money. Of course, it wasn't the 21 plus that he had been accustomed to the last couple of years that he'd been in the league. But again, the Tennessee Titans and Ryan Tannehill, I tell you what, I think that when you look at the coach, Vrabel, and what they do as an organization, how they've been able to overcome a lot of the odds in really a tough conference out of, when you got to deal with Kansas City,
sure,
Cleveland, Baltimore, and those type of teams, and then you still know Tennessee Titans got a chance. I think the decision he made, he realized he was going to a more mature locker room. He was going to a more mature team, more disciplined team. And it's the same quarterback with the same running back with the same head coach. You just got to look back a couple of years ago. It's the same 2 guys that had the two receivers over now they're over at Philly. And so I can't be mad at his decision. I think it's a good decision for him.
And on top of that, when you look at the things that can enhance an offense, Henry's going to be, DH. He's going to be that guy. He might be a little less tread on those tires than it was last several years, but to have an individual like D-Hop that can open up that offense, and along with that young, fine wide receiver they drafted, I think it only enhanced their chances of maybe going a little bit further there in Nashville.
D-Hop's brings, he is the name that you need on your team. Look, let's do this real quick. Thank you for taking the chance to come into the Arizona Cardinals. Thank you for listening to your buddy J.J. Watts. Thank you for coming here and giving us, at least some good years and good opportunities to see what it's like to have a number one receiver after the transition of the great Larry Fitzgerald, and then we go out and get, two 10,000-yard receivers, that being A.J. Green and himself.
Right.
DeAndre Hopkins, look, he's going to make a difference for that team. He's going to make a difference for the quarterback. If he stays healthy, it changes the narrative when you got a number one receiver like D-Hop. So what he brings to the table, it changes the narrative of what the defense will do to stop the running game like a Derrick Henry. We're going to see that. We're going to see that the residual effect of losing him, because now we got to have guys that we can consider number one receivers. And I can't say that in my receiver room here at the Arizona Cardinals just yet.
And Frank, speaking of residual effect, the receivers, obviously it's a quarterback league, with the receivers being enhanced, making big bucks. We talk about D-Hop could make up to close to $15 million per year. And then you look at I don't know if I'd call it the decline of the running back per se, when you have Barkley, Pollard, and Jacobs all having the franchise offers tendered. Pollard's the only one signed. And it looks as though Barkley and Jacobs with the Raiders may be sitting out for a long time. Are we seeing the devaluation of the running back? And if we are, why?
Our quarterbacks are making $40 million a year plus.
Yeah,
there's your decline right there. It's hard to have, bookend receivers, a tight end right now that's catching and the value of what it costs to get a tight end right now.
Yeah.
You're looking at a pass happy
3 minutes
across the board, across the league. And the athleticism now is in your running back. In your quarterback. Josh Allen is rushing for 500 to 700 yards plus. Lamar Jackson is rushing. He's rushing the ball. Our quarterbacks in the NFL right now are turning into running backs. The RPO offense devalues the running back very much because now he's the option more so than the demand. And that's just the way the offense is set right now. Manucci, we can go back and say we saw a 2-back set. Back in the early 80s, we saw a 3-back set in college at one time. That was the wishbone offense.
Yep.
That was important, and the receivers were devalued at that time. And as the years progressed, just the maturation of the game to a pass-heavy game, the quarterbacks are so athletic that it's changing the narrative. So they're basically that extra $10 million they're getting is the running back's money, and because they can run the ball too just as much in the RPO offense.
All right, so you just referenced running
2 minutes.
guys that can take off and go if they have to. The Cardinals have Kyler Murray. Frankie's talking a lot, saying that he's hoping to play opening day, game 1. You and I both believe that probably is not the case. But when do you, in your estimation, believe that fans could see Kyler Murray after we get through the upcoming training camp?
I would probably say about week 3, week 4.
Okay.
I don't want to push it. I don't want to push it outside of that. I think that Kyler, we're talking about how he feels physically and mentally, and both of them need to be at 100%. Well, if you can run and you can still get yourself up to about a 4.4 or a 4.5, then that's really what we need. I mean, I think that if your arm is where it needs to be and your mentals are there, you got to be ready to go play. Like this is not something that happened, week 17 of last year's football season. It happened in a moment where it happened in a moment where the rehab took place. You went and got your surgery.
1 minute. 1 minute.
That we've seen many running backs or athletes come back much faster than having to figure out, how long does it take? We knew our running backs can come back within 5 to 6 months, and that's from an ACL. So now we're just talking about the mental emotion about coming back. Is he physically ready? I think he'll be physically ready, by the time we get through training camp. But will he be ready to play? That I'm not sure, Jimmy B.
All right, Frank. So here's the question of the day. 117 dry heat in Phoenix, Arizona, or Auburn, Alabama, 100 degrees with 90% humidity. Where is Frank Sanders going to play golf that afternoon?
Frank Sanders is going to live in Arizona. He's going to stay in Arizona. He's going to play golf in Arizona. I have no desire to go back to that. The trees, the beautiful nature, the beautiful mountains, and all that beautiful stuff, and all that southern drawl, and talk, and sweet tea, and catfish. We can keep all that. I want my dry heat, 117, and a bunch of beer, brothers.
And you realize, Frank, if you've got a 20-mile-an-hour wind, it's 117. The wind chill factor is 110. So you got to look at that positive side, right?
I got a lot of positives about this desert that I love way more than back east. I'm a Fort Lauderdale, Florida boy. I grew up by the beach, and I have no desire to be by any of that humidity, the rain, hurricanes, tornadoes, mosquitoes, roaches, all the birds that's out there, the alligators, the crocodiles. You can keep all of that. Give me my desert.
Well, I think the Phoenix Chamber of Commerce is going to hire you as of that last comment right there. And there's no mango towels back there in Auburn, Alabama.
There is no mango towels, but the sweet tea is pretty diabetic.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I read you on that one. All right, kid. Listen, hit him.
Stay cool.
Yeah, hit him straight. And, I don't want to hear you on the news tonight, okay?
No, you won't hit me, brother. I love my desert. I told you, I take the ice bucket challenge every 3 to 5 holes, man. I pour it all over my body.
Smart.
And it works.
You're the best.
I guess those guys out of Auburn did get educated, Jimmy,
They
once
did.
in a while.
Yeah,
they figured it out, man.
Thank you, Frank.
All right, brothers. Have a good one.
All right.
Frank Sanders. Love you, Frank.
Yep, always. He's the best. Frank Sanders on the show when his thoughts about the